Today we're going to be talking about some things that bluelock makes you realize. I asked this question to you guys a few weeks ago and got a lot of responses, so here are the best ones I picked out that I think could help any one of us in real life. For me, it was the line Asagi told Rio, and don't be the one who gets chosen, be the one who gets to choose. For some reason, these words just stick with me so much, understanding that you have to be on top and be in control to take charge of your future is what really resonates with me. I completely agree with this statement, as it was a turning point in the series for Rio. He didn't realize that his promise to become the best in the world with Nagi was such a simple thing. Nagi needed to go off on his own and change so that they could meet up again when the time is right, and Rio could not see that. He was so focused on making Nagi want to choose him that he loses and forgets his reasoning for being in bluelock. Asagi reminds him that only the people who will become the best strikers in the world belong in bluelock. Rio has no idea what he's even playing soccer for anymore. This is a good quote, as the second selection was an eye-opener for all of them. It was a battlefield to test individual skills paired up with others. You cannot sit back and be someone who just waits to get chosen and get a free ride to winning. You have to be someone with the skills to garner your own path and take victory for yourself. That is what being a striker is. You need to take control of your future and grasp victory all by yourself. People who did not understand that did not make it far in bluelock. From Batra, that you can't let your fear of loneliness make you dependent on others. It's fine to have loved ones you can lean on from time to time, but if you're too dependent on them, you end up limiting yourself and avoiding your problems. It's important to address your fears and flaws and learn to be strong on your own first so that you can be stronger with others. I think this is one of the deepest quotes from Batra's personality. In second selection, Batra realizes that up until this point, he had been relying on his monster inside of him, and then when he found Asagi, he realized he was playing soccer with Asagi because he wanted to be needed by someone. Asagi became his reason for existing, and he couldn't play soccer without him. The loneliness of losing Asagi was so hard for Batra because he felt like soccer would be no fun without Asagi. He then is able to self-reflect on himself and accept these feelings and put them to rest. If he couldn't break away his curse of needing someone, he would never be able to evolve anymore. He thinks back to his original self before his monster that he relied so heavily on. Back when just becoming one with the ball was all that mattered, having fun in the world. He decides himself to become the monster and take over his wishes for playing. He realizes it's okay to be alone and dance by yourself. That is Batra's original ego, one that doesn't rely on anyone and just has fun with the ball. A dancer who creates moves on his own and relies on instinct to guide him. Batra no longer had the limitations set on him and was able to free himself and go back to his original ego because of this and awaken. I'm expecting the same thing to happen to Asagi soon enough. The most impactful lesson for me was the one about luck. Asagi lost to Rin because Rin was at the right place at the right time to score a goal against him. This is another huge lesson by ego to explain this to Asagi. Asagi just couldn't believe anything about luck and how it's just pure coincidence and nothing else, and ego fully explains to him the mechanism of luck. Ego is telling Asagi exactly how Rin was able to use luck to his advantage to find the best spot to score had the ball gone his way, and he fully showcased the chance of coincidence to score. Luck is like something that descends upon those standing where it will drop. It really puts a new perspective on luck, and you can put yourself in better situations to get lucky and not just follow the normal procedures of luck. Ego tells him about those who foresee the possibility of luck and train to be able to seize the opportunity when it presents itself. Asagi was not able to accept the result of the battle, but he then realized that his understanding is just not there yet. He realized that he needed to incorporate luck into his thought process if he wanted to evolve into a better person. He needed to update his understanding on a fundamental level and become a newer version of himself to fully defeat Rin. It's funny how that chapter worked out for Asagi, as he ends up using the same concepts of luck in the under 20 match to eventually win the game for bluelock from the luck he grasped and believing in Rin. Defeat is the crossroad that can either pull you down or give you an evolution. Humans who fight even in the face of despair holds the power to make their dream come true. This quote comes from Ego in the second selection after Asagi's team beats Shigeri, Rio, and Kunigami. Baro was in despair from losing the leading role of the game and was no longer the king, but now he has found a new way to take that loss and despair and use it to find something new. Many people are scared of failing, and then once they fail, they blame it on external things instead of just accepting the fact that they lost. They deny their own weakness and blame that they lack talent, when in reality they keep making these excuses as to why they did not win. They do not properly engrave the despair of losing and use it as fuel to win again. There's no point if a dream isn't there to make it come true. You couldn't have said that any better. Failure is a crossroad to a dream. It's important to feel the pain at your own powerlessness and the talent to despair. Only by giving up on your path before you'll be shown a new one, and those who still try to fight, even when they despair, have the power to make those dreams come true. You cannot let a loss overtake you and make you give up, and you cannot allow your talents to make you feel like you're invincible. You will feel despair, as everyone does, but it's what you do with yourself once you feel despair that will shape who you are. Will you keep giving excuses to yourself about it, or will you go out and change yourself and adapt to a new circumstance? In order to change, I have to be something I'm not. Stick with me, and if it means winning, I don't mind destroying myself. I'll be reborn as many times as it takes. This comes from Asagi in second selection when he cannot get himself close to Baro and Nagi, who are the geniuses of the field. Asagi knows that he is mediocre compared to them, and right now his thinking will not allow him to get close to their level. He realized his old mindset from before won't work in the second selection, and it took time for him to realize that. He cannot be the same person he was if he wants to survive in Blue Lock, and he had to rewrite his own common sense of football and destroy everything about him. That was the only way to win. Asagi was doing whatever it took to win, and that's why he had to be reborn. Now this is my favorite quote in panel in Blue Lock, because it goes to show just how adaptable Asagi really is. He's able to rewrite his own common sense and thoughts in the middle of a game. It's no wonder he gets called the king of adaptability, because he really is. He can change his entire thought process and go for a new way of thinking that can get him closer to the geniuses. He needed to create a new skill that allowed him to get to the goal and defeat Baro, and so he copies Naruhai's blind spot skill and is able to use that to win the game. We see now in the future Asagi is used to stealing someone's skills and taking it for himself or updating it to his own style. No matter what life throws at you, adapt, overcome. While this quote can mean a lot of things in Blue Lock, and it generally sums up Asagi for the most part, you must adapt in any environment you get thrown into, and you must overcome the trials and hardship that await you. Adapting means to make something suitable for a new use or purpose, or to modify it. You have to make things suitable, make the uncomfortable comfortable, make the hard easy. Life throws things at us fast, and it seems to always happen when you don't expect it, but that's life. It's how you adapt to those situations and get your way out is what makes you fight the adversity. You need to be adaptable and formless like water. Everything always changes. Don't bet on stability or for things to last forever. They will always change. You will be in situations where you need to change, just like how Asagi did, and what you do in that moment defines who you are. I might seem crazy, but Asagi's invention of metavision helped me realize that I could process almost anything in my FOV instead of just focusing on one thing and blurring everything else out. This could help you as well, as sometimes in real life we tend to get distracted too easily and don't focus on the bigger picture. Now metavision is extremely difficult on a soccer field because you're constantly inputting data in your brain from your peripheral vision at all times while running. You're renewing information at all times, and it can become very exhausting easily to have to do that. Now in real life, if you were to focus on the general background of things and not always notice a single item, this could help you, but it really depends on what you're using that vision for. Your central vision will always be the most important, and it is something that allows you to focus on what's in front of you. You would probably use more of your peripheral vision if you're looking at a large item or crowd or something and wanting to check around a place without moving. Overall, it's still a good trick to have. Ego truly is the driving force. To be better, you have to believe you're better. Take Kaiser going, and trust me, for me, nothing is impossible. And then going on to score a seemingly impossible goal is proof of what believing that does. Egoism isn't that bad if it's applied correctly. We could go on all day about ego, and it has its good and its bad. A person's self-esteem and self-importance can go a long way and can really shape who you are. Sometimes it's good to have an ego because you can use that ego to drive out your skills and talents, like how Kaiser always believes in the impossible no matter what. He uses ego as a way to say that as long as he is there, there's no fear to worry. He acts like a king who will not ruin his kingdom. Ego can also be used though in bad ways if your ego is too high and you don't have the skill sets driven out of you. It can be seen as delusion, as seen from Yukimiya, who thought too highly of himself and thought he was the hero of the story. But in reality, he's not good enough and needs to know his weaknesses. That you can't change yourself from someone else, and no matter how many times you knock, you can't open up someone's closed heart, so your only option is to make the most from that person. This was another huge part from Asagi in the second selection because he could not get through to Baro and get him to link with him. All he saw were dead paths leading to the goal in Baro's path, and decided that he could not change Baro's way of thinking, but instead change the way he himself uses his abilities. He decides to instead focus on devouring Baro instead of working to adapt with him and change his own style. He knows that him and Baro will never be able to cooperate in a teamwork-like system that focused on coordination and passing. Instead, they have to go at each other, devouring the other for the expense of themselves. You can't change others, and that's why you have to change yourself to change the world if nothing's happening the way you want it to. Control of others is not the way, and it will never be the way. You have to change yourself. If that person decides to change on their own, then that's good for them, but you can't force them. Asagi was really the adaptable king during the second selection and realized a lot about himself in that arc. Well, these are some of the things that Blue Lock has made me realize, and I hope you guys can use some of these to see yourself as well. I was glad to get some of your guys' feedback on this, and we should see more of these as Blue Lock continues. Blue Lock can really change your life and put new things into perspective, and I want you all to be able to see how your life can change from small things like this. Well, I hope you guys liked the video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll be back in the next one. Peace.